One of the biggest questions I get asked this year in my Twitch streams are, Ray, how are you so good at pitching? So in today's video, I'm going to show you guys the sequencing, your settings, all the stuff you guys need to do to get better at pitching in MLB The Show 24. Now, as a former college pitcher, I feel like I have some good tips for you guys to get better at pitching, kind of using some of the things I used in college into the virtual realm of baseball. But first, we need to talk about which pitch mechanic you guys should be using in MLB The Show. If you guys take a look at my screen right here, our pitching interface is set to pinpoint. Now, I know pinpoint can be tough for a lot of people, but I promise you guys, take the time to learn it. It is the most accurate and the most retraceable you guys can be using. Now, if you guys do struggle with pinpoint and you guys just strictly like, hell no, Ray, I don't want to use pinpoint, you guys can also use analog. Now, it might not be as accurate, but if you are better at analog and replicating how that flick goes up, it honestly sometimes is even better than pinpoint. Anything below that, I don't think you guys should be using if you guys want to be competitive. Again, this is totally up to you guys and what you guys want to do. I would first start with pinpoint, work on that. If you guys can't use pinpoint, you guys just don't want to use it at all, I would go to pure analog. Anything below that, I just would not use. Again, it's totally your call, but if you guys want to be competitive in this game, I promise you guys want to use those too. So now let's talk about why some pitchers are better than others or why you should use certain pitch types in this game. If you guys look at my team right here, you'll see a very common denominator. Outlighter has a sinker and a cutter. Shohei Ohtani has a sinker and a cutter. Randy Johnson is an outlier. He doesn't need those types of pitches because he just legitimately is one of the best pitchers in the game. We have Noah Schultz, again, kind of like Randy Johnson, but does have a sinker. Go over to Paul Skeens, a sinker and a cutter. So the best pitch in this game, in my opinion, is your sinker. It's the hardest one to hit. Usually you can bust guys in on the hands with it. You can go outside with it a little bit if you want to as well. But the sinker is almost a must on any of your pitchers that you guys are using. So every pitcher that I use has a sinker. Outlier, Randy with no sinker because he throws so funky. Now, other things we want to talk about within our pitching attributes as well. Want to have good hits per 9, good Ks per 9, good walks per 9, and or good velocity or good break. Now, hits per 9, Ks per 9, they're pretty straightforward. You want to have those as high as possible. Now, walks per 9 and velocity are a little bit weird. If you guys are looking at the BB/9 and the velocity, if your pitcher doesn't throw very hard, the walks per 9 don't need to be too high for the par to be small. Now, if your pitcher throws harder, the par is going to be inherently bigger, especially if that is really far down like it is an outlighter. But I promise you guys, something like outlighter, legitimately, his pars are very small, so it's not that big of a deal with him. Lastly, break is a huge thing as well. Pretty straightforward as well. It's how far the ball will break for you guys. Definitely want to have pitchers that have a lot of break and those pitches that bite quite a bit. So now that we know what pitchers we want to use and what pitch type we want to use, let's go ahead and get into an actual game, talk you guys through my sequencing and what I'm doing for each player. That way you guys get a good indicator which you guys should be using for yourself. Now, one thing I like to do before I actually get into any gameplay at all is if you press start and you press X or square in controller, you can go ahead and take a look at your opponent's batting averages here. Now, looking at his batting averages, he actually is pretty decent, not too horrible at all. So this means maybe he'll be ready for those inside sinkers, those outside cutters. It just gives you kind of a good indicator of what kind of player you're playing against. And that way you can kind of dictate how you're going to throw the ball to him. So with a player like Dylan Cruz, I have Outlighter, who's a lefty. I'm going to start out with the outside cutter right here. Most likely, most people don't swing at the first pitch anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But if I'm dotting a corner right there, that might throw him off quite a bit. Now, obviously, that didn't work out. So what we're going to do is we're going to tunnel right here. We're going to make sure the cutter looks like the sinker. So maybe he's saying it's going to go way outside. Again, he didn't swing at that. But those pitches next to each other look the exact same. So we know that in our back of our head for when we're going to pitch against him here. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try to go inside with a cutter just to see if he will flail at it or not. Did swing at it, obviously, you know, very early on that. Knowing that he's early, now this is a pitch type I wish that he did have a changeup. He doesn't, unfortunately. I'm going to go ahead and go inside here again. This is a slider this time. There we go. Get a nice little swing. Again, try to make that cutter look like the slider right there. Get some out in front, and we get our first out. Okay, now we're facing a lefty in Shohei Ohtani. Again, this is probably the most guessable pitch for anybody, but inside sinker to a lefty, first off, look at that. Very late on that. Now we know in the back of our head that maybe he can't hit that inside sinker. And we can use that for other pitchers as well. Not a very good pitch right there, but again, very late. We know our opponent has been late on 2 sinkers. I'm going to go ahead and just throw it again, man. And then boom, we get our first strikeout. So my opponent looks like they can't hit the sinker at all, especially inside. So if we're going to go with a righty coming up soon at some point, we know that the inside sinker of the righty will be very good as well. Okay, we know again, he cannot hit the inside sinker. I'm going to go ahead and see if he can hit this one right here. Still very, very late on that. Just to not like keep spamming the same pitch, I'm going to go outside with the cutter here. Let's see if this makes a difference at all. Okay, he watched that one though. So I think he might be sitting inside now. Now we have him thinking about inside. I'm going to go back outside with the cutter. I think he's going to think inside and he'll roll over on this pitch. Okay, should be very early on that, I assume. Look at that, very early on that. Let's try to make these slider look like the cutter here and hopefully get a strikeout. All right, he was ready for that pitch right there. That ball was absolutely smoked. Thankfully, it was a perfect out for us. So now we know the outside slider might not be something we can use moving forward. Okay, we're on to our next inning right here. We are in the top of the second. I am playing an event game if I didn't make that clear in the beginning of this video. So we got to make sure that we're getting ready for the last inning coming up right here. So took the pitch right there on the inside. It was a great sinker. We're going to go outside right here with the cutter. Okay, didn't swing at that. Now, what I want to do right here is I'm actually going to go with a sinker. Make that cutter look at that sinker, and we'll see if it fools him or not. Nope. Great pitch again right there. Kind of crazy he's taking those pitches that are that close. Let's go outside with the cutter again. Try to tunnel that still. Totally missed my spot right there. Maybe I fooled him. Maybe he was thinking an inside sinker right there. We still get the out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and put in a righty here so I can show you guys what I would do for a righty as well. Outlier did great, but we're going to go ahead and throw a rowdy. Now, somebody like Raleigh Fingers only has a sinker, which still he's going to be very good. He'll be dotting these pitches inside. Again, my opponent has shown the entire time that they cannot hit an inside sinker. I know it kind of gets a little bit cheesy, keep spinning them in there, but honestly, if they can't hit it, why wouldn't you keep throwing it? In this instance, I'm going to go ahead and throw a slider down low. Try to make it look like that sinker going inside here. See if we can get a roll over on it. Look at that. We get a nice little strikeout. Maybe thought another sinker was coming. Then we went ahead and dropped in that slider. Now, somebody with a lefty with Raleigh Fingers, I'm going to throw a forkball first. Okay, very, very, very early on that pitch. I'm going to work off of that with another forkball and see if he goes early again. Okay, looks like too late on that one. That's interesting. Now, in this situation, when you're up 0-2, okay, you can play with a bunch of pitches. It is hard to strike people out in this game for some reason because that's just how the show is. I'm going to try an up-high fastball. Now, I don't think this will get out, but maybe it moves his eye level right here. Again, kind of went a little bit too high than I wanted to. Now that I threw up-high fastball, let's go inside with the slider. Again, we're trying to make it look like that up-high fastball I just threw. Okay, good eye right there. Good to know we can take there. Now, I'm going to go ahead and go inside, bust him with this sinker on this 2-2 count. We'll see if we can pull it or not. Good pitch. Very, very late on that one again. We are just we're just messing with his mind. That's the biggest thing when you guys are pitching. You want to mess with their mind. You want to make them think that you're throwing something other than you haven't thrown. I didn't throw the inside sinker yet. He had no idea it was coming. We got another out. All right, we are in our last inning right here. He does have Travis d'Arnaud and then two lefties up after that. Obviously, I have a lefty warmed up right here. I'm going to go ahead and warm up another righty. So again, you guys can use this for any sort of game mode you guys are playing. Events and Battle Royale. Battle Royale is always 3 innings. Events are usually 3 innings. Sometimes they're 6 innings. Ranked seasons can be 9 innings. So what you guys want to do is just, if you think about ranked seasons, you're playing a lot of that, just kind of stretch out the exact same thing that we're doing in this scenario right here. So again, we have Travis d'Arnaud up. He's a righty. We're going to go ahead and bust him inside again with this sinker. See if my opponent can finally catch up to it or if he's still going to be late on it. That's an absolute dot right there. I'm going to move up the sinker just a little bit more right here. Still just insanely late on that. Again, 2 sinkers in. Let's go ahead and see if we can use this slider on the outside part of the plate here. Now, that got the striker right there, but honestly, the tunneling on that was not very good. I wish it would have gone a little bit more up right there to make it look like it was going to be another sinker. We're going to actually go ahead and throw in John Franco. Another deadly pitch I can talk about in this game is a screwball. John Franco has an incredible screwball, another really slow pitch if you work it correctly. Let's see if I can do this correctly here. So we're going to go ahead and use the inside sinker again. Go to James Wood. All right, look at that. He actually hit the ball right there. Maybe now we have him just sitting completely inside right now. So on this entire at bat right here, I'm going to work outside to see if he can hit it as well. So we're going to go ahead and use the outside slider right here. Okay, he wanted to swing at it, but didn't. Let's go outside changeup. Okay, again, good take right there. Go outside fastball here. Okay, kind of late on that one. Now I think I've thrown so much outside that I can go ahead and work this inside sinker right here. Kind of missed my spot, but again, my opponent is still very, very late on that. Now, we're going to go ahead and end it here with a cheesy pitch, the up-high screwball. Actually, you know what? I'm going to be nice. Let's go low with the screwball. We're going to work off that sinker here. All right, pretty early on that one. Now that we know that he's going to be early or very early on that, we're going to go ahead and go outside again. Try to see if I can get him to flail on this slider. That is an insane take right there. We're due 3-2. I'm going to go ahead, go inside with the sinker. Our trusty sidekick. See if we can get this out of this here. Great pitch, strikeout looking, and boom. We get a win right there. Again, this is a really, really small scenario within all the game modes you guys be using. But I promise you guys use these tips. Use pitching. Use the different pitch types to all your advantage in this game. Use tunneling. Tunneling is a huge thing. Make every pitch look the same. That way, when your opponent is hitting, you get them to think, hey, this is what the pitch is going to look like. This is the same pitch that's coming. We use a lot of inside sinkers right there. Again, my opponent could not hit inside sinkers. So we knew that going into some of the innings after that we can really spam the inside sinkers. But then again, we also went to the outside portal plate as well. We use sliders. We use a screwball there that was very early. The screwball dictated us going to the slider outside. He didn't swing at it. Then we went to the sinker inside on the last at bat. Didn't swing at it. We got the strikeout looking. That is a pretty simple way of what you guys should be doing in each game. I can maybe go into more in depth in another video if you guys need another video for this. But for this sake right here, hopefully you guys can use that. You guys become a better pitcher. And you guys just become better at the game. I know it's sometimes tough to do. But I promise you guys get repetition and everything. It'll help you guys out. If you guys did enjoy the video, please leave a like for me and subscribe as well. But until next time, I'll see you guys later. Peace.